Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's president since 2013, faces allegations of crimes against humanity, including extrajudicial killings, torture, enforced disappearances, and a brutal crackdown on dissenters, journalists, and civilians, accused of rigging elections, controlling media, and orchestrating a narco-terrorism network. He's branded a dictator by critics worldwide. This documentary examines his alleged crimes through the lens of psychology and psychoanalysis, unraveling the mind behind a reign of terror that has shattered a nation. Why focus on Nicolás Maduro? Because his alleged atrocities, torture, mass arrests, and a systematic policy of repression offer a horrifying glimpse into how a leader's psyche can twist power into a weapon of fear, screaming for psychological analysis. Picture Caracas, July 2024. Streets choked with tear gas, blood pooling under young protester bodies, their homes marked with black X's by Maduro's death squads. Over 2,000 arrested, 24 killed in post-election violence, per Amnesty International, with children tortured in re-education camps, per NPR. His intelligence services, accused by the UN of crimes against humanity, use electric shocks and genital mutilation to silence critics. From the 2018 murder of Councilman Fernando Albán, thrown from a 10th floor window, to Yemen-like starvation policies driving 7.89 million to flee, per the UN, Maduro's methods are calculated cruelty, making him a chilling case for dissecting the mind of a tyrant. Let's dive into Nicolás Maduro's world, where fear and control reign supreme. Born November 23, 1962, in Caracas, Maduro grew up in a working-class family, his father a leftist labor activist. He skipped university for political training in Cuba's Nico Lopez School, soaking up Marxist ideology. Starting as a bus driver, he climbed the ranks as a union leader, then joined Hugo Chávez's movement, serving as a loyalist in the National Assembly, foreign minister, and vice president. After Chávez's 2013 death, Maduro, married to Cilia Flores, a powerful lawyer, became president, cementing his grip through loyalty and repression. Psychologically, Maduro shows traits of narcissistic personality disorder and paranoia, per 2011 leadership trait analysis. Narcissism fuels his belief he's Venezuela's destined leader, unable to tolerate dissent, as seen in jailing opposition leader Maria Corina Machado supporters, per ELPS. Paranoia, rooted in his Cuban indoctrination and Chávez's anti-imperialist rhetoric, makes him see enemies everywhere, opposition, journalists, even the U.S. Psychoanalytically, this is persecutory anxiety, where he projects his fears onto critics, justifying their elimination as state defense. His modest upbringing, overshadowed by Chávez's charisma, likely bred an inferiority complex, pushing him to overcompensate with authoritarian control. What drives a leader to allegedly torture thousands and starve millions? Maduro's actions, crimes against humanity, per the UN, including 5,300 extrajudicial killings by 2019, suggest malignant narcissism, where power is used to crush threats to his ego. His repression, like the 2017 protest crackdowns killing 36, per UN News, uses dehumanization, framing dissenters as fascists or imperialists to justify violence. His paranoia, per Size, sees even allies as potential betrayers, leading to purges like the 2018 arrest of 59 soldiers, per Wikipedia. Psychoanalytically, this is splitting, dividing the world into loyalists and enemies with no middle ground. Why these victims? Opposition leaders like Edmundo Gonzalez, journalists, and protesters threaten his narrative of unchallenged power. His 2018 re-election, deemed fraudulent by the UN and OAS, sparked protests he crushed with lethal force, per The Guardian. The method, torture, disappearances, and public intimidation like Operación Tun Tun creates fear, per NPR. His intelligence agencies, SEBIN and DGCIM, use electric shocks, asphyxiation, and sexual violence, per the UN, to break dissenters. This bureaucratic cruelty allows psychological distance, normalizing atrocities as state policy. His alliance with collectivos, armed gangs, per Insight Crime, adds a layer of deniability, letting him claim rogue actions while orchestrating terror. Caracas, 2017. Protesters choke on tear gas as Maduro's Special Action Forces fire live rounds. A 20-year-old student, Juan Pablo Pernalit, collapses, a tear gas canister crushing his chest, per the UN. In Sebin's El Helicoide prison, detainees scream under electric shocks, their genitals mutilated, per the 2020 UN report. They beat me until I confessed, a tortured journalist told Amnesty, his voice breaking. In 2018, Councilman Fernando Albán is thrown from a 10th-floor window, his death ruled a suicide despite torture marks, per The Guardian. Post-2024 election, Operación Tun Tun marks protesters' homes with black X's, per size. A mother in Caracas told NPR, "They took my son at midnight. I heard his screams as they dragged him away." In rural Bolivar, 2024, Maduro's colectivos forced minors to campaign for him per incite crime. A resident whispered, "They shot my brother for refusing to vote PSUV." Over 2,200 arrested post-election, including children tortured to confess on video. Per Amnesty, in detention centers, women face sexual violence. Per the UN, while 7.89 million Venezuelans have fled starvation and violence. Per Amnesty, Maduro's narco-terrorism, tied to the cartel de Los Sols, per the DOJ, floods the U.S. with cocaine, a weapon to destabilize enemies, per U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman. This isn't chaos. It's calculated terror, designed to break spirits and cement power. Maduro's psyche is a labyrinth of control and fear. The 2011 leadership trait analysis labels him dominant, distrusting, and dauntless, with narcissistic traits making him crave loyalty, unable to share power, as seen in sidelining rival Diosdado Cabello per Reddit. His paranoia, fueled by Cuban training and Chavez's anti-U.S. obsession, cast the opposition as CIA puppets, justify atrocities like the 2017 torture of 122 detainees, per the UN. Psychoanalytically, this is projective identification, displacing his insecurities onto critics, making their destruction a defense of his identity. His modest roots and lack of formal education, per Britannica, likely deepen an inferiority complex, pushing him to mimic Chavez's charisma with brutal control. His marriage to Cilia Flores, a key PSUV figure, reinforces his power, but her influence, per foreign affairs, may amplify his ruthlessness. His alliance with Russia and Iran, per the Atlantic Council, feeds his ego, offering global legitimacy despite sanctions. The 2018 drone attack, per Wikipedia, heightened his fear of assassination, escalating purges. His sadistic streak, per Vis and Filtros Andres Espurua, shows in social media videos glorifying torture, like a protester mocked to Carol the Bells, per NPR. His refusal to negotiate with the opposition, per ELPS, reflects a narcissistic need to dominate, even at Venezuela's ruin. The ICC opened an investigation in 2021, per Wikipedia, targeting Maduro for crimes against humanity since 2014, including torture and killings. A 2020 UN report, based on 3,000 cases, found Maduro and his ministers ordered extrajudicial executions and torture, per Al Jazeera. In 2024, Argentina's federal court issued an arrest warrant for Maduro, per ELPS, for post-election repression, with 2,000 arrests and 24 deaths, per Amnesty. The DOJ's 2020 indictment accuses him of narco-terrorism, offering $25 million for his capture, per the U.S. Embassy. Maduro denies all, calling investigations imperialist plots, per The Guardian. No arrest yet, he rules, backed by loyalists and foreign allies like Russia. Maduro remains in power. His January 2025 inauguration, per The Guardian, a defiant middle finger to global condemnation. No arrest, no exile, he's entrenched, backed by the military and collectivos. Precise. Existentialists like Sartre would say his choices define him, his repression a deliberate embrace of power over morality. Determinists argue his psyche, shaped by poverty, Cuban indoctrination, and Chavez's shadow, traps him in a cycle of fear and control. His lack of remorse, seen in TikTok videos mocking prisoners, per NPR, suggests a narcissistic detachment from guilt. The question haunts, is he a tyrant by choice or a puppet of his own demons? Venezuela lies in ruins. 7.89 million fled, per Amnesty, leaving behind a starving, silenced nation. A protester's mother told The Guardian, They took my daughter's future, her voice. Opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez hides in Spain, per ELPS, while Maria Corina Machado vows to fight from hiding, per Open Democracy. Maduro's legacy is a graveyard of dreams, his regime a warning. When paranoia and power collide, a nation bleeds.